This was harder than you planned. He was not taking the bait, but you were determined to prove that you were somehow on the same level as him, just on opposite sides.
That, however, he also put words in my mouth, because I never said I wanted to debate science with him. Certainly not exclusively. I wanted to talk about the existence of God. Now, how Thunderfoot misconstrued that and thought I was talking about science, I don't know. Now, Thunderfoot, I'm sure you're aware of this, but the scientific method cannot be applied to God. If the scientific method is what we can repeat, observe, and test, well, how can you observe, repeat, and test something that exists outside of the physical world?
But he would not let you live in that delusion.
Venom, I appreciate your eagerness, but pestering me with needy messages and telling all your subscribers to pester me with needy messages is not a way of making you a renowned scientist. If you want to make a genuine contribution, you have to get your ideas published in the peer-reviewed literature and to win an academic consensus, just like every other idea in history. The conventional way to do this is to become scientifically literate in your chosen subject. This usually takes about 6 years. That's 3 years to get acquainted with the subject, or an undergraduate or Bachelor of Science, and about 3 years to become a competent scientific researcher. That's a PhD. You'll then have some credibility to attract funding, and to propose experiments to test hypotheses, to gain an understanding of what is currently unknown to mankind, or to reappraise an existing theory. I'll be honest, Venom, I personally get a great deal of satisfaction from the contributions I've made to the act.
And that's what did it. You then realized how futile your attempts were. The world of science was tremendously larger than your innocent, sheltered, closed-minded views could have ever perceived, and you could never gain any ground trying to make videos on what you thought was science. All of your creationist videos had only served to humiliate you. You were angry. Your expectations were let down. But you cannot blame yourself. That would be far too adult of you. So you set out to play the victim by making your pathetic goodbye video, almost exactly a year ago, in which you projected your anger and disappointment in yourself onto Thunderfoot and the Amazing Atheist.
Hey guys, this is VenomFangX with some bad news. I've been receiving death threats and against my life and the life of my family, my loved ones, so I'll be shutting down this ministry. I simply can't continue it while this is going on. I've contacted the authorities and the police, and these aren't just idle threats. I've been getting threats since I've opened up my ministry. I've understood from the beginning that responsible for the hatred are people like Thunderfoot and the Amazing Atheist, who, in their videos, they're not simply bent on proving themselves to be or vindicating their own position. They're actually more interested in causing dissent and hatred in their fans. All you have to do is go look at their comments they receive, and you'll see. So while these two individuals are not directly responsible for the threats, they are responsible for the hatred, and they are held responsible by me.
Did you honestly think no one would notice when you didn't leave after making that video? As if we would just feel bad and forget about it. What happened to those sick and twisted individuals who had your details and could come to your home and hurt you and your loved ones? You were not even gone for 2 weeks. In the following 2 videos, Thunderfoot saw through all of your motives.
The thing that I find most peculiar, Venom, is that you claim to have left, but you haven't, have you? You're still here. And further, every other day that I've connected to the web when I've gone through a civilized area, I've seen that you've logged into your account minutes to hours ago. This is drama queen written all over it, Venom. Indeed, from your actions it would appear clear that you never had any intention of shutting down your account. I even wonder if you received the said death threats, and even if you did, if your first inner thoughts were not, this is going to be a great way to score some pity. And then the ultimate irony, having thrown your toys out of the pram over some alleged death threats, you in the self-same video, threaten everyone else with far worse, albeit by proxy. I think I now know what your target was. Firstly, you realised that all of your creationist videos were utter crap to the point of humiliation. You also realised that they were receiving no traffic, probably from YouTube's demographics function. It was therefore the obvious thing to delete them. They were a hostage to fortune and an intellectually indefensible liability. But how to delete these videos without everyone calling you on it? How to spare yourself the humiliating climb down of admitting you are factually wrong on virtually every point you opened your mouth on? Then it comes to you. Take a play out of the religious rights playbook and claim to be the poor persecuted victim irrationally hounded by murderous godless zealots into making unreasonable concessions against your virtuous nature. Fantastic! Now you get to delete all your bullshit videos, claim to be a victim, and then go back to making more traditional Christian videos that hang on some fantastical theology and never mention or examine facts again.
Even when you tried to revert to your crappy preachy videos, he still would not leave you alone.
Let's take a brief look at your latest video, Hell and Satan, where you say about all those who don't buy into your narrow-minded opinions about what God is, and I quote, "Anyone who makes this objection is making God in their own image and their own understanding, which is a violation of the..."
So first, you tried to belay Thunderfoot's reasoning as to why you deleted the Satan Invented Evolution series by posting your 5-part Evolution Wants to Make a Monkey Out of You all in one day.
Every ape I see, from chimpanzee to chimpanzee.
It could not have been fun knowingly setting yourself up for another beating, but in your mind you had to do it.
Oh, and for the record, PCS, Darwin's voyage was on the Beagle, not the Bugle. Bugle's where Spider-Man worked.
However, shortly after that, your frustration came to a peak, and you crossed the line in your censorship last September.
On the 9th of September 2008, 2 of my videos had their access restricted by YouTube due to DMCA copyright notifications by a third party.
I understand why you did it. Everything you had hoped to accomplish had been utterly smashed to bits. It must have been very hurtful to you, and you wanted to shut up your critics the only way you could. Again, lashing out with all the anger and immaturity of a spoiled child. But you would soon regret that as well. You tried to act tough.
Dear Thunderfoot, it is quite flattering that you've spent so much of your time here on YouTube in an attempt to defame my character.
But you had underestimated Thunderfoot yet again. You underestimated all of us.
If you were to ever come to the UK and attempt such a puerile accent in front of anyone, you would, at best, set people's wanker alerts off.
What the hell were you thinking? I can see you not realizing the implications of filing false copyright violations, but once you did, why did you continue to lie?
VenomFang, sort of the premise that you come into it with and sort of what you left it with was that you've got him backed into a corner, and he's so frightened of your proposition that he's actually beginning to believe in the faith of Christianity. And
I doubt you really thought of it as censorship, just your last option to get back at all the people for humiliating you and making you realize that your videos were unmitigated failures. You thought you could be slick and talk your way out of it, but it did not work. Thunderfoot gave you an offer to keep you out of the legal crap, but you could not take the humiliation of giving him that satisfaction. So what did you do instead? You put on your mother's makeup, danced around like an absolute maniac, and then you, a Canadian citizen, in response to a crime committed in American jurisdiction, quoted a 1968 blackmail definition from England. Bloody brilliant legal strategy. And we all remember how well that worked for you.
This is an apology from myself to Thunderfoot and other YouTube users. I confirm that the contents of this apology are true and accurate. My username on YouTube is VenomFangX.
Yes, the epic apology video. It was your last and only option after doing everything in your power to appear tough in front of your followers. Look at that red flush of embarrassment on your face. I found it most amusing to read the snippets of the emails you sent to Thunderfoot, especially this one. You little hypocrite. You accuse Thunderfoot of having no humanity or compassion when you make statements like these.
So, why doesn't God heal amputees? Because they don't deserve their arms. We deserve to die. That's what the Bible teaches. Sorry if you don't like that.
And as for this venomous lowlife you referred to, it was not Thunderfoot. It was your own ineptitude, your ignorance, and your childish lack of respect for free speech catching up to you. Your apology video was the only 5-star video you ever produced, but it was nowhere near sincere. Your appearance reminded me of a bothersome child being dragged back to the dinner table to finish his veggies before being allowed to watch his favorite television program. You still lie about it today.
Why did you file a false DMCA against Thunderfoot, and explain on air the result of that exchange?
Yeah, absolutely. Thunderfoot had some extremely offensive videos in which he took the content of my videos, cut them up, made me say things I really didn't say, and misrepresented me. And it is illegal on YouTube to take someone's video and cut them up. It says right in the terms of service. So the DMCAs were not false, but unfortunately much of YouTube is automated, and they don't really take the time. How could they? So many thousands, millions of videos.
Sure.
They don't really take the time to investigate every case. So he counter-notified YouTube, and the possibility of losing my channel scared me, and so Thunderfoot said, listen, I won't take this any further, I won't file a lawsuit or go into any details if you just read a simple apology. So I read a simple apology, and he dropped the whole thing, and I figured that was a far wiser course of action than actually going the whole lawsuit way. I don't think the DMCAs were false, but at the same time I didn't want to make it into a legal issue.